If anybody knew how much preparation time we put into the beginning of this, it's amazing.
Done a lot to get ready for it. For a full day's work then. Just to prep for it. Are we live on all platforms and stuff too? Are you doing that?
We are, but your audio is a little muffled when it comes through with some audio.
You want me to go back to the headphones?
Oh, I think you're good now. I think it's just when there's audio playing, you might be a little muffled.
All right.
Where are you coming live from today?
The Country Inn and Suites in Cedar Falls, where we've been for the last 26 years. We've bounced around a few hotels up here, but this is just the landing spot.
The Country Inn and Suites. So why does Jesse like the Country Inn and Suites?
I don't know. We've just kind of landed on it. One, it's just the location, the ease of getting in and out.
Is it also that it's $84.99 a night?
No, it's not that. That's for sure. I can remember that when I first started coming up here, we went over to the Holiday Inn. I don't even know if it still exists over there, but
that was a little further north.
Yeah, it was rough. And I'm sure it's much better now, but then we've bounced back and forth. But this has just always been home. I mean, it's just.
I think the last time I was there, you were at the Country Inn and Suites.
Yeah, and we've got a palatial suite here with the 2 beds, and we've got Wilk here with the pull-away hide-a-bed. That's what we called him back in the 70s and 80s. I'm not exactly sure. He's a bigger kid, and we have.
But he is Lil Wilk.
Well, you call him Little Wilk. I don't know. I wouldn't call him Little Wilk, but I mean,
have you met his brother? He's Big Wilk.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the deal.
Yeah.
I haven't met his brother in person. No.
His brother is better than him, but
not from what I've heard.
Yeah, his brother's awesome, and his mom and dad are. He's probably the 4th best Wilkins.
I just thought you called him Little Wilk because of his dad, but he's kind of. I think he's got to be taller than his dad. I think. Are you taller than your dad?
No way.
Yeah, he says so. Yeah.
His dad could play basketball.
Really? I don't see
yeah.
It. Yeah. Was he like a Kevin McHale low post magician in the?
So Wilk, you're gonna have to correct me on the facts here, or maybe I shouldn't let facts get in the way of a good story. But Tom Wilkins was like Bellevue Marquette.
No way. Your dad played at Bellevue Marquette?
I don't think so.
He's Marquette. He's like, no, he didn't think so. So.
Yeah, he played at a small town in Iowa, right? Like, he was good.
Okay. Yeah, he was good.
He was good, and you just tell by like his post moves, he just kind of had it.
Yeah, he had that little it factor. He was the guy.
He was the guy. He was the man. And then, like, if he needed to even, what's that?
He said he was the shortest guy in his team, so they were big.
Oh,
well, we'll have to regroup and get more details and maybe have Daddy Wilk on the show to prove that.
Yeah, we need
VHS of that. I mean, I want to dub that.
I'm sure you probably have dubbed it down to a USB drive by now, or maybe you probably dubbed it to a DVD at some point.
I would love to. I mean, that's really the only thing that I'm good at. I'm kind of a good dad and a good grandpa, and I'm good at dubbing stuff.
All right, so kind of a crazy week. I was in Iowa for a brief stint. Probably a 48-hour window there. I got to go see the Pleasantville Trojans play Iowa City Regina, and I got to see your dad get married.
Yeah, your dad got married. Jesse and I, after we got done with the 2 8-player games today, which was fun to be at the Dome and that feeling. So we got 2 down and, 19 to go. But Dad, we called Dad on the phone. So we got to talk to Dad, and it was just funny to watch Jesse's face with some of the things that Dad was saying. He had to take our sister to the hospital to get her hand checked on. She's recovering from surgery, and I don't know HIPAA laws if Tammy wants me talking about it, but she cut her thumb a little bit. And so, if they're checking on the surgery, she couldn't drive up. So Dad and Cheryl took her, and he's like, well, I got this. What do you call it, Jesse? I got the video chip or computer chip. Got the computer chip. I'm bringing it to you, and I'm going to bring it over, and then you can make the videos from it. And I'm like, okay.
From the wedding?
Yeah, from the wedding. So, but I was like, I waited for him to talk a little more. And then I was like, Dad, we're at the Dome. He's like, oh, my God, you're those ball games. He just wasn't on his radar. But he was coming to Bing Bang today, and Tammy wanted to come, and yeah, it was going to be a whole thing.
He never called me. He didn't tell me he was going to the office. Did he go to the office?
No, after that, I kiboshed it. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
I was in the office all day, but I wasn't at the office. Like I had meetings all day, like just back-to-back Zooms. I was a Zoom guy all day.
Were they in the big conference or the small conference?
They were in the small conference room all day.
Yeah.
So usually the big conference room is where we have the fun meetings. The small conference room is where we have the bad meetings.
Oh, okay.
So the bad conference room, I think you just get Brandon like 1-on-2 or whatever, and you just get to hear like how amazing I am and how terrible everything else is. So that's what we did today.
That's awesome.
So so we drove back home then. So we left.
Yeah, so you took one of the Bing Bang vehicles.
Left Dad's wedding about 8 p.m. and we had a blast with family. That was pretty cool. Kind of an unexpected.
Yeah, it was really great to see, Grandma Bell's side of the family really showed up. Yeah, I mean, just a ton of people that haven't seen in years. So there's some good stories there.
Yeah, I mean, it truly was a family reunion, but how couldn't it be? So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So then I drove back and we got to St. Louis and it was the middle of the night and it was brutal cold.
It was.
The wind was blowing. Yeah, I needed to get some gasoline, and it was just like I stood out there in that wind and I was like, this is horrible. And so I knew that the cold was kind of heading south. And so I knew it was going to get to Florida. So yesterday in Florida, it was pretty cold in Florida. So so let's go live to Bayshore Boulevard in Tampa yesterday. This is what happened. I don't believe live. And then it'll be about 80 degrees this weekend. So it was pretty rough. There were some pretty crazy things. There was falling iguana warnings.
Yeah.
So I guess
some of them are big, yeah.
And I guess they just they're just done. They just it's not like they die. They just fall out of trees. And so that's what I had in Florida. And so I then contacted our coach, like that coaches up Bailey's team. We had practice Tuesday night. And it was going to be like 40 degrees. And he's like North Carolina guy, football guy. I'm Midwest guy. And he goes, can you even believe we're having this conversation about if we're going to practice or not? And he's like, can't I just tell him to put sweats on and we'll practice? And so he told him they could wear sweatpants and sweatshirts and coats and hats and whatever, but we're practicing.
Yeah.
And actually we had like our best practice of the year Tuesday.
Oh, so you went through with it.
We went through with it. We did it, and our girls showed up. It was fun. It was I don't know if like kind of a little edge, and Bailey hit the crap out of the ball, played well. And so I think we're going to be ready for the 80 degrees this weekend.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're playing at Madeira Beach again. And
that's the best part about baseball, softball too, is those elements are something that you either embrace or you don't, And so it's really cool when you coach it up to make it be special and then it works out. Sometimes it doesn't because it's just so nasty or, I just hated playing spring ball. And we had so many, it got so like it is now, it got to the point where there was so much revenue that they had those tournaments no matter what. And as a head coach of a program, I was like, there's no reason for my, players that are going to be playing in May and like 2 or 3, maybe 5 weeks away to be risking themselves playing in those conditions, but much different than the environment you were in. But sometimes you just get that wind and that rain and it can be awesome.
Yeah. And that wind and rain. And so it's funny, as I'm standing out there, hitting fungo and different things like Tuesday night, I was like, this would have been the best day in our spring, college season, what it felt like. And it was like the worst, side of the world, down here in Florida. So just pretty crazy what all that. And so, Dad did tie the knot. That was the other aspect of this weekend. Just pretty amazing. I'm just going to keep bringing that up. How many times can I say it in the middle of the show? And then by some point he will chime in on Facebook, I'm sure. But so people losing their minds, dad time they're not. And then I saw something on Facebook the other day, and it was Tom Roth or Marcy Roth had the post.
Yeah.
And so it was just kind of that, celebration of Logan Roth's career. And Logan Roth, like, I got to see him live and in person with the Trojans the other night, and a fun kid to watch play the game. He plays the game 100% like Marcy, not like Tom. And so he was fun to watch.
Yeah.
So watching that kind of take place, and then I was reading the post, and I just decided to comment on the post, like, it was fun to watch this guy Friday night. Like, excited to see what's next. I hope to see him on a wrestling mat. So I don't know. Logan's wrestled for a couple years. A lot of that Pleasantville baseball team, I think they all have went to the weight room quite a bit in the off season between football and baseball. And so I think that's what they've done to get better and ultimately created a state title last year. So I was kind of joking. And then Logan, I didn't even know Logan. Some of these kids even have Facebook profiles. Logan had a Facebook profile. And Logan just kind of came swooping into the comments and like, you'll see me out there on the wrestling mat.
Oh, cool.
And Marcy had already said, no, he's not wrestling. Tom had already, and so then when he said that, it was just like breaking news. And so I'm not sure if he is wrestling, but I did make a bold statement on Facebook that if he wrestles, he will be the next franchise owner in the NFFFL.
He'll have the rights if he takes that.
The rights. Yep. If he wrestles for the Pleasantville Trojans this year, he has the rights to the next team.
Yeah, the next time one comes up. Yeah.
It's
I won't even have to worry about it. So there's the newest owner in the league, not from Pleasantville.
He is in the league. Can he stand over your shoulder and see how long that beard truly is?
Oh, I think the folks at home have admired it many times. But so after we went, we had done with the Dome, we went to Peppers tonight. That's our tradition on Wednesday now. And we had to go get groceries for the rest of the week. So we got, water and tea and stuff to drink and beef sticks to eat in between the games.
Are you going to be okay without your quick start slushy?
No, I'll be fine. This is my body's ready for this. But we were in the Hy-Vee grocery shopping, the one right over here by Country Inn and Suites. And he was pushing the grocery cart, and I was kind of behind him looking at stuff, and some random guy came up and said something to him and fist bumped him, and we got down the aisle a little bit. I was like, what was that? Is that about your beard? Or he's like, yeah, it's a beard thing. Yeah. So yeah, he gets random people and he's like a movie star. It's just crazy. It doesn't matter where I go.
Yeah, it's almost like the Harley wave, like the way motorcycle people wave at each other.
Yeah.
Or it's like the way farmers wave at each other, but it's just Jesse and the beard.
It's classic.
All right, I got a couple other things we're going to hit real quick, and then we're going to go full high school football for the rest of this show.
All right.
Where do you want to go next? Do you want to go Braves Freeze, or do you want to go Miami Mike?
Let's start with Miami Mike. It sounds more exciting.
All right, Miami Mike. So I was watching this weekend. This dude, right?
I have a couple of things that I want to share sometime that I'll have to, but it'll be on a different show. But this guy's interesting. I don't know. I mean, I've always been a guy that likes tapered jeans and and all that, but he wears the capri sweatpants. It's just hard because I think he's very intelligent. He's very interesting. He's got a great story behind him. But it's just hard to keep picturing him as the head football coach of an NFL team. So what's going on here?
So I was watching some Miami Mike stuff, and I had never heard him called Miami Mike. I kind of liked that, Miami Mike. And so the post or the story I saw was Miami Mike is back.
Oh.
So they beat the Bills this weekend, and he had been kind of, I think, a little bit like, is his job secure? Is it going to make, all these things? And then he driving to his house after the game. He physically drove to where a bunch of Bills fans were to chirp him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so they're like, Miami Mike is truly back. And so he drove down to chirp him. And then this right here is in the press conference. Let me see if I can pop this back up bigger. There it is. So this is in his press conference on like Monday or Tuesday after the game. And somebody was like, it's got to be AI, right? Like you weren't down there chirping the Bills fans. And he's like, it's AI, right? Yeah. Yep. And then it proceeded that they kept asking him questions because he wasn't like denying it. And so they're like, did you go down there or not? And he's like, you guys think it's AI, right?
That's just how he left it.
He just kind of left it hanging. And so then there's more videos that have surfaced of him actually down there chirping these fans. Like that was his thing when he left. He chirped these fans and it's just like that's the NFL head coach that's wearing capris, chirping these fans. Like that is Miami Mike.
Yeah, that is. So is he like doing the Kirk Cousins? Like you like that? Was he actually having conversations?
I didn't see actually what happened, or like I thought it was actually AI, so I wasn't even gonna bring it up or say anything. But then the way his press conference and the way he's like, I'm not gonna deny or accept that that's what happened. Neither.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of left it.
His personality for sure.
Yeah, so I just found that to be kind of fun and interesting that like that was Miami Mike, and that's what so Miami Mike's back.
How much longer though is he going to be there? You think he finishes the season? I
think if he continues to beat the Bills, like he's got a chance to stay around for a while.
Yeah, when they played the Bills earlier in the year, it was just kind of a struggle. I don't know. It must be a matchup thing. I don't know why, but the Bills every once in a while will just struggle, and they definitely struggle with the Dolphins.
So we do have some comments rolling in on the old Facebook. I see.
I'm always not sure we should read these.
Well, we won't. I don't think we can push them through live, which is good.
Okay.
But I have Chance Mesker, which you talk about another just football player.
Yeah.
Logan Roth on a wrestling mat is music to Trojans fans' ears.
Yep.
I do agree. Having Mr. Roth out there will be pretty fun. Not the actual Mr. Roth.
Yeah.
All right. Last thing, and then we're going high school football. Nope,
okay.
We don't want that guy. Let's remove that guy. Here it is. We need a producer. The Atlanta Braves have posted a job hiring a new freeze to race against the fans at a game. Have you seen this in-game promotion?
So you gotta beat that guy to win.
So the in-game promotion, it's like racetrack gas station, I think, puts it on.
This is so up your alley.
They call him the freeze. And so
the dude looks like, look at his legs.
I know, he's just
he's gonna beat that guy.
So someday we will show. Actually, maybe I'll just find that might be more fun here. Because if I didn't think about people wouldn't know what's going on here.
So they have somebody applying to be that guy.
So the guy must not be coming back for the next year. And here it is.
We do have people chiming in with me now. I got something out of Knoxville. It says that they had a Zoom with you about 12 hours ago. I wonder if you've moved from that seat.
I have not.
You changed shirts? I'll ask Chambers if you're wearing the same shirt.
I think I did change shirts. I have something that we're going to reveal a little later today in the show because I had to change shirts. I don't think I combed my hair, but yeah. All right. Let me see if I can pull.
So what's the job posting?
So the job posting is for this guy. So the freeze, they're trying to find the next guy that will be the Atlanta Braves freeze for next year.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes.
So that guy's clear out there in center field that got the head start, and then they just got to beat him. That's it.
Closing speed. Is this instead of a mascot race? I love it. This guy can fly. Looks like a young Davey Nelson.
See ya.
Yeah, the contestant there was no joke either. That dude was running.
Yeah.
There's some people he just probably doesn't have to try, I imagine. I mean, they get almost a third of the field.
They get a nice head start, and then look at this dude. So they have an open job to be the freeze. Yeah, that was like Joey Logano running against him.
Yeah, you'd have to train, wouldn't you? Has anybody ever beaten him? That's the thing. Too.
I have seen some winners.
Braves bullpen loves it too. I think they like it better than everybody. They're trying to help a guy out.
That guy was getting woozy. I mean, if you drew the card to be able to do that, I mean, there's no way. You have to be trained for weeks just to try to run that.
Oh, this is at the Yankees. Like the Freeze goes on the road too.
He's like the Savannah Bananas. Guy's striding out pretty good. But you can just tell, like, by the time they get to center field, it's over.
I got beat him.
Oh.
The Freeze. I mean, he starts how many? You get 50 yards behind.
This is Joe Morgan breaking it down here.
That guy blew a tire.
That guy blew a tire.
Blew a tire.
Oh, geez.
The exciting beat the Freeze promotion between innings.
Beat the Freeze.
Gotta be maybe one of the best, in-game promotions. Like,
Yeah, I like his goggles.
yeah, the goggles are pretty sweet. So there's that. So just kind of interesting that, this is the job posting the Atlanta Braves have out. They're hiring the Freeze. I think Little Wilk could do this.
Yeah, it'd be fun to talk to the people that are doing the hiring, how many apply and how that process is.
Maybe we'll try to ring some of the folks at the Braves and just have them kind of break down this whole process.
That's cool.
In the off season, that'll be one thing we'll do. All right, let's roll some footage.
It's mid-November in Iowa. The cornfields have been cleared. Harvest is done. Now the Dome takes center stage.
That was a while back.
Only 24 of Iowa's 336 high school football teams will enter this arena with a chance to win a championship. For some teams, it's a rare
We were
dream
talking
come
about Kevin
true.
Cooney last week.
For others, it's
Yeah,
an annual
doesn't matter
expectation.
where you live or if you ever
This
heard
tradition
before.
of excellence creates an inherent advantage. It's this power to perform at an elite level year after year that defines these teams as a Dome dynasty.
We're playing for the state championship tonight, boys. The state championship. There's 56 teams in 3A, and we're one of the last two standing. We gotta get out there, and we gotta get after it.
Don't expect this.
Yeah, so just a lot of little teases there that we were going to go back to back. But yeah, get you ready for the Dome, and I think that's the foundation of all these teams up here. And we're talking about the 8-player. It didn't start it until 2000. We added that class, and now 5A's been added, so there's 7 classes right now, and for that, just that many teams get with an opportunity. Next week it'll just be 14, but yeah, right now we've cut 2 more from the herd, so 8-player is set.
8-player finals are set. So
Yeah.
let's go backwards a little bit. Let's go through some quarterfinal action that happened last Friday. So, I mean, we're Wednesday. It's not that far removed, but there has been semifinal action already today that we will catch up on. But let's go to some of the quarterfinals. Let me pull some of them up here. All right, you want to start Class 5A?
That's fine.
Class 5A, some quarterfinal results. So the game Pot A. Let's play some Pot A video right here. Where's that at?
You want me to play it?
I got it right here.
Back-to-back 98,
There you go.
99. What a beautiful
Oh, wait,
night.
let's listen to that
It is
intro. It's
tonight.
pretty
That
good.
makes it better. Iowa City West won 3 championships in the 90. 1995, back-to-back 98, 99. Then Dowling won 2. They've won 10 since we started the Blitz. 2 historic programs going at it tonight here at MediaCom Stadium.
Yeah, it's fun to be at
What a beautiful
MediaCom.
night to get going here.
And we can turn down the volume a little bit. But, I mean, the West got some players. I mean, they got 2 kids that are going to Iowa and had their hands. They came out in the first drive, Brandon, and just drove it down, and then Dowling stopped them on downs, and then Ian Middleton just took over the football game. So it was pretty impressive to see what he can do. So if they get a lead and they're in good shape,
Jeffrey Roberts.
and Roberts, like some of the folks at Dowling said, might be the fastest player that they've ever had. And there's a Wagner kid that's going to Iowa. He's a tremendous player. But Dowling just had too many bodies and just kept.
Oh, somebody's head came off.
There's Bobo. Good player.
So
that interception there by Roberson was probably the key to the game because they tie it at 7 there. If they don't, they get the pick, get the ball back, and cold night, all Maroons, good blocking, Middleton in again.
So you guys, you and the Bearded Wonder went over to MediaCom Stadium. Is MediaCom Stadium the best stadium in the state of Iowa?
Yeah, I mean, you always ask me these questions when I don't have time to think about it, because even after you talked about the walk the one night, I forgot about West Branch, and we even talked about going over to Guthrie Center when we saw ACGC. There's just so many good stadiums, but as far as like total package stadium, what you could do if it was full on a night, it could be, it's right up there. I mean, with the way that it's set up, but as far as the best, I mean, venue is different, I think, than stadium. I think there's a difference, because you've been there too, Brandon. Even when we did some of the big games, the Valley Dowling games, and at Drake, it was fun. I mean, when you consider a stadium, but venue, interesting.
Yeah, if you're thinking like palatial studio, like palatial venue, probably MediaCom. It's probably the newest, nicest. Valley Stadium is probably up there. We haven't seen a ton of the ones.
Well, Waukee Northwest is unbelievable. I mean, Polk's done a nice job with theirs. Just for the local, the bigger ones.
True.
Johnston's is nice. And, they got.
Did you say something nice about Johnston?
Johnston's facility's awesome. They're in Grimes, though. I mean, it's like, if you live in Grimes, you're closer to Johnston than you are to DCG. It's great. It's weird.
Yeah, there are some weird.
I'd like to go to, I mean, Liberty's got a new facility. I'd like to see some of those, but then I consider some of the old ones like West Branch, like the old Little Rose Bowl, and then where we were then up at Emmitsburg. It's just Newton's always a great place to go in. They're putting more money in it, so there's some great places around.
Regina was weird, like their stadium, really weird.
Different for you.
Like the grass was really nice. It was almost like an astroturfy, nice grass, but it was like the stadium was jammed in. It was like they built everything else, and then it was like, we got to have a stadium here.
Mm-hmm.
And so just jammed the stadium in, and so it kind of cut off on the edges into like the other sports.
Dowling is the practice facility, football facility they have there.
Not even close to that. Like take that Dowling facility. There was no track.
Mm-hmm.
Take the Dowling facility and just chop all the edges, and then just round the corners of the end zone.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
I always liked those fields that didn't have a track.
I
thought that was cool.
I didn't think about it, but the fans were close. The Pleasantville fans were really close. So, that was an interesting one. We'll hit on that a little later. But yeah, so Dowling takes care of business, 35-0 over a really good Iowa City West team.
Yeah, it sets them up with Valley, and that they squared off the start of the year, and Valley got them. But that's going to be a 50-50 game every time they play, even with the. No matter what the personnel is, but this year they're dead even. So it's going to be a great football game Friday night.
Dowling Valley. Doesn't get any better than that at the Dome.
It's really cool if they get a play up there.
So that'll be fun to see those two Yahoos going at it. And then I think when you start looking at then Waukee Northwest and Iowa City Liberty.
Quarterback play is going to be huge. Got to take care of the ball. The Wolves being up there for the first time with this group. Go Padich. And I really think that we saw Southeast Polk try to deal, and then they lost to them in the quarters this year. But, just to start the game, dealing with Reading and how fast they are, the key to that would be not to panic and not to get behind, because otherwise Liberty will be on their way. So you really have to take care of the football. And that sounds weird, but that probably is what that game's going to come down to.
Yeah, I think that's what it's all about when you get to the Dome. You just –
Oh, yeah. I mean, Garrigan, in the game we were at today, I mean – they played a great Audubon team, but they turned it over 5 times. I think it was the official count at the end. And you just can't do that against good teams.
Yeah, that just changes everything when you start turning the football over and you start making little mistakes. It's just those really good teams will capitalize in a hurry.
Yeah, not unless you got extremely extraordinary personnel that can overcome it.
So that's 4A, or that's 5A. I always want to call it 4A because that's just what it was.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's the big schools. It's the large class. I mean, 4A, 5A, it sounds the same. And then trying to really understand the difference between what 4A and 3A is now is just different. It's just different.
So, Waukee Northwest, I think, they put a pretty good ball game together to beat a really good Sioux City East team, 48-34. And then I was at Casey's in Iowa City, and I saw a lot of dejected Southeast Polk fans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you would have. Yeah.
So we were, that one Coralville Casey's, that you can hit right there on the interstate. And it was just, but the Southeast Polk fans had it figured out. They they were coming out with 4 or 5 pizzas. They had it dialed in. We did not. And so it was a sad trip across I-80 for Southeast Polk and Pleasantville. There was a lot of hanging their heads on the way back to Central Iowa.
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about the playoffs and the way that it gets potted out and whatever. You just got to go, and those memories. There's so many great players and so many great things that have transpired for some of these teams that lose, and some of them don't even get to make the playoffs. But yeah, having that memory of going over there, the Polk played well. They were in the game, had a chance late. I think, didn't we have it like up on your phone as we were? Yeah. We were packing up and we were seeing if they could get it done, and it was crazy. But yeah, and then there were a few like the Pleasantville, the North Polk. There's some teams out there that this doesn't go your way, so you just got to tip your hat to the coaches and players on the other side. And there's some good football teams right now.
Before we get to 4A, we've got some comments rolling in. We've got an elementary principal and we've got a Metro fire chief all commenting on things.
Oh, no.
So the elementary principal says Logan needs an NIL deal to be wrestling.
Yeah.
So maybe this isn't a done deal. Maybe he doesn't. He's not the next in line for the franchise.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just telling Logan right now, he doesn't have to wrestle to become – I don't know if he gets first rights, but he's definitely on the short list to get in the league.
And then the Urbandale fire chief is commenting that Regina's field turf is just like West Branch's Little Rose Bowl. Pretty cool.
Very similar. Okay, they got the same grass doctor.
It seemed very similar grass doctor.
Yeah.
And I was talking to some West Branch kids that were over in the corner watching the game. They were on the Pleasantville side, but after about the second fumble, they migrated to Iowa City Regina side.
Started hanging out with their friends over there.
Yeah, I think they wanted to see Regina lose, and then it was like, that's not going to happen. We're moving.
Yeah.
All right, let's go Class 4A here.
Oh man, 4A is just.
So I got some 4A schools. I thought I was a little shocked by this school by this score. Xavier 45, ADM 7.
Yeah, I mean, because what ADM was doing late, but yeah, I mean, I just it shocks you because you've seen the consistency, out of some of the schools in Central Iowa what ADM did, but Xavier, you just can't pick against them right now. I don't think. I mean, it's just the proof's in the pudding right there with the numbers. I mean, they're probably the favorite. Newton's explosive.
I think another score that you got to take a hard look at: Newton 42, Gilbert 14. Newton and Xavier both might be playing the best football right now.
Yeah, we saw Newton a couple times, and I do know that their quarterback's getting healthy, but I think Gilbert did have an injury. It kind of set them back a little bit, and that can happen in those games. But there's no chance. There's no doubt that the Cardinals will be able to hang in that football game because they are so explosive. But it's such a huge advantage. I know that Xavier hasn't been there in a couple of years, but Coach Schulte and just who they are. I mean, those kids it's almost worse to have to play a team that's playing that well that hasn't been there in a few years. There's definitely a toughness in that program. And so I'm excited for that one. That's the 4A games are going to be exciting, and Pella's in the same boat. I mean, the both of them are going to be super cool.
So then Sergeant Bluff Luton beats the Fighted Bearded Wonders 55-15.
Yeah, I mean, just wow. How well are they playing? And they take care of the football. They're old school. They really run the ball well. It's a toss up in 4A. But when you get up there too, sometimes it can get out of hand when you're going against one of these good teams. So don't be surprised as these matchups feel if we do end up on the wrong side of a score in that 4A field.
Yeah, and then the last game that we'll just talk about will be Pella Decorah 7-6. Did you hear anything from this game? Like, how many broken noses? How many blood timeouts? Like what? Well, holy cow!
Well, Decorah scored late, so I didn't talk to anybody, but so cool to have one of the all-time powerhouses, Decorah, healthy, and I mean they were such a dominant team in the 80s, a dominant program, and they still had their flashes in 13 or 12, I think it was, with Josie Jewell. They beat Brandon Wager's Heelan team that year. Wager had the MCL sprain. The next year he went crazy, ran for like 3,200 yards or something nuts. But the year before that, Decorah got the championship, and So there's something about Decorah, Harlan, those kind of schools. It's just fun to see them. But I don't think Pella has had a chance to play Decorah in a quarterfinal. So I know they played them in the Dome, but that was a big win. And I don't know if they went for 2. I don't know if they missed extra point, but I know it was 7-6. Haven't done my research on that one.
Yeah, I think you'll hear the full story tomorrow when you get to see them at the Dome.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool. I am getting some text messages, some correspondence here that it is not the fire chief. It is the assistant fire chief, not the chief.
Okay, so we don't want to make the chief upset.
Yeah, not only don't want to make the chief upset, but I do feel better about all of Urbandale now.
Yeah.
That he's not the chief.
I didn't know. What's his official title?
He's the assistant chief.
Okay.
Got it.
So
all
how
right.
many chiefs are there?
There must be a few chiefs. So Class 3A.
Yeah, let's pull up 3A here.
We've got 3A here. I'm pulling up the semis, so we have those.
Heelan on a tear, playing the defending state champs, Wahlert Catholic. And I mean, Solon's one of those where we were talking about Sergeant Bluff Luton and Xavier. They just keep naming the score. And Nevada out of that district is the one team that ended up surviving and still alive. So,
yeah. And then they beat Clear Lake, who was kind of on a mission, I felt like.
And that's the same thing, Brandon. I mean, when you look at scores, it can get crazy. You start getting starstruck with a team, and yeah, really hats off to the Cubs.
Yeah, 24-14 win over Clear Lake, Nevada, not Nevada. And then Solon 21-6 win. Man, it was a bad weekend for the Binghams and the Beards. Like the Bingham boys, Pleasantville gets smoked. Johnston gets smoked. Those are the Bingham favorites, and then watching Winterset and North Polk get beat, like the Bearded one, really tough weekend.
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure.
So Solon 21-6 over the Bearded Winterset Huskies. And then Wahlert Catholic wins 27-6 over West Delaware. Pod D, Bishop Heelan 35-14 over Sioux Center.
Yeah. Bishop.
So those games will be played on Saturday. Those will be the late games Saturday. Bishop Heelan will face Wahlert Catholic, like you were saying, and Solon versus.
Yeah, our getaway game is Solon, Nevada. Yep, that's our final. It's our final game of the semis on Saturday night.
All right, rolling 2A. 2A, Carroll Kemper, 43-26 over Cherokee, and then Van Meter is Van Meter. Yeah. Van Meter back to the Dome, 28-21 win over Mid Prairie. Osage, a 12-7 winner over Alburnett. And I think Alburnett was an offensive juggernaut. So keeping them 12-7.
Yeah, what we've seen at Osage is they're just really good defensively. And then when they win the turnover margin, they put up points. But it'll be cool to see Osage up here.
I was getting live updates from the Wilton PCM game. And
what in the world?
PCM was rolling.
17-0.
Yeah, then just all of a sudden it was like they're chipping away. And then Wilton scored late. And Wilton 21-17 winner over PCM.
They might be the team of destiny. Kemper is stacked, and the Baden kid. They just got Vanami's brothers on that team. You saw Vanami step up a little bit. I don't know if he's got to be a brother, I suppose. I haven't researched it, but it was cool to see him score for the Hawks this weekend. And when we were up there, when they played Odebo, Arthur, Battle Creek, Ida Grove, he was a real deal. He could run. So I think Kemper is definitely probably the team that's favored up there, but don't tell anybody else in that pod.
So those games will be played Saturday. It'll be 10 o'clock kickoff for Osage and Van Meter, and then 1 o'clock kickoff for Kemper Catholic versus Wilton. I did find it interesting. I was going through some stats, and I believe Wilton was the team that knocked Iowa City Regina out of the playoffs last year in Class 1A. As I was kind of looking, because I was like, who beat Regina last year?
Yeah.
And Wilton raised their hand. They are the ones.
Yeah, moved up a class.
All right, and talk about moving classes, moving down a class. The Class 2A champions, West Lyon. I think they actually had a football game this weekend.
We did for a while, and then they poured it on late, so they definitely have depth. And we can talk about a little bit of that when we talk about the 8-player games later. But you have to play 4 quarters against them. And South Hardin, obviously, pretty tough game early in the year. Sounded like they could show up and played with Grundy Center. That was a 1-score game and tight. So That's the second game. So I thought that was So we'll have to wait and see that because Grundy and Regina will come out right away. It'll be on fire. I mean, we'll be on fire walking into the Dome Friday morning.
Yeah, Grundy Center, Regina. So Grundy Center, 21-0 winner over Beckman Catholic, and then Regina Pleasantville. We got some Regina Pleasantville highlights. We got to bring some of those to the stage. And so it was fun to get I got the chance to go over and see a little Regina Pleasantville, and I really was just hoping. There's Logan Roth. He'll be the wrestler. Savion Miller, though, he's a player.
Yeah, yes, something else.
There's Logan Roth making another play. Tate Wallace, number 0 here, just got a Tennessee offer here recently. Tate Wallace, nice player. Kyle Tracy, the quarterback here for Iowa City Regina, made plays all night. Pleasantville challenged, but it just wasn't enough. Braylon Bingham here tried everything he could. I thought I was getting taken out here, but I stayed somewhat in there.
The camera still works.
It does. Not bad.
Yeah.
But this was the dagger.
Speed right here is what kind of you could see the get up and go. So there'll be some track meet plays coming up on Friday morning between those 4 schools. Well, all the games we see. These just kids that run.
And Regina just made the play. And it almost felt like they were toying with Pleasantville a little bit. Like, if they just wanted to get Savion Miller the ball, I don't know if we could tackle him. Like, he's a nice football player. And I thought and then one of the other kids committed to Iowa here recently for Regina. So here's Mr. Bingham.
I think the takeaway too for you is just what it meant to be out on a playoff game on a Friday night. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I hadn't been, on a football. There's Logan Roth making a hit there.
He's actually a baseball player for people that don't know him.
Yeah, he's going to DMAC to play baseball. But that's what small town kids do. They show up and they hit people and they play football, and then hopefully they wrestle or they play. They might play basketball too. And so, this was a cool experience for me to be able to go see my hometown Trojans, but then also, get to go to a cool environment like Iowa City Regina. And I'll tell you what, I didn't know what to. There's Braylon Bingham stealing the trophy from Tara Williams, but I didn't know what to expect. I thought Pleasantville had a chance. I thought they would compete, but man, Regina is good, and they're deep. And I heard, and of course, hometown bias. I heard a ton of people leaving the field ain't nobody beating Regina. That's the best 1A football team I've ever seen. And I kind of just, I kept my punches internally there. I was like, I don't know. West Lyon's pretty good. Grundy's pretty good. I was like,
the only team up there with a loss is South Hardin, and they lost to Grundy. So,
yeah. So I was like, I don't know what to say about Class 1A. I think it's probably the most fun this year. There's 3 definitely dogs, and I think South Hardin has something to say about it too. So there's 4 teams up there that are going to compete, and they're going to punch you in your mouth and steal your lunch money.
For sure. We got that going on in Class A too, because St. Ansgar, Wapsie Valley, the boys from up there, and Marcus Merritt and Cleghorn, Remsen Union, they're just, and then West Sioux. What they did against ACGC was super impressive. And
24-14 win over ACGC.
Yeah, a team that just, when we saw them, I thought they were definitely a dome team. So West Sioux has to be talented and has to have the speed and size again.
And then St. Ansgar got Northland 49-21 to move into the semis. And then I'm sure this was a fun football game. Wapsie Valley 22-16 winner over Linville Sully.
Yeah, Wapsie with the 5 championships in that school, a lot of pride. It's their first time back in a while, so that's cool.
So those will be the first games you will see tomorrow. St. Ansgar will play Wapsie Valley at 10 o'clock at the 72-degree Unidome. And then was it 72 degrees today, or was it a little cold?
It just depends on if it was a little, I think it was a little warmer than that at times, but when they open that door, it gets a little chilly. It helps.
Sometimes that Wednesday game, they might not have the heat cranked up yet. It might still be about 68 degrees.
Yeah, I like it kind of cooler. If we can keep it cooler, that'd be great.
MMCRU 11-0 will play the 10-1 West Sioux team at 1:00, and then tomorrow you'll roll into Class 4A that we already talked about. So a fun. How many games did you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 games? 14 semifinal games?
Yep. Yeah.
How many games? Okay, so you're going to cover 14 semifinal games this week. How many games has the David Bingham covered at the Unidome?
I don't know. It was interesting to, since I officially started in my own business in 2001, you probably add them up. At one point I was like, because we had tapes back in the day, so we would write the tapes, but when
you had all those tapes stacked everywhere. You probably still have them stacked everywhere. But
so it'd be cool to go back, and this was Dome game number 1. It would always be cool to be like, this is Dome game 500, whatever. That would be really cool. But, shot a lot of them when I was in television too, even shot one for KWWL back in the day. So I've been to a lot of them, but that would be cool to know exactly the I've never really stopped to think about it, but that'll be cool sometime.
I think it's time maybe in the off season here that we really tally it up.
Yeah.
We figure out, because
you got to take into consideration when 8 players started their semis, because sometimes they only had the championship a couple of years, and I can't remember that for sure. And then 5A started, so the amount of games changes every year.
Yeah, you're 20 years, at least 12 to 17 games probably a year in there. So we're just going to do a little math here. So
somewhere around 400, 500, somewhere around there probably.
Yeah, so you're probably 25 years. 25 years, we're going to say on average 375 games David Bingham's probably covered.
Yeah.
The only person that probably has seen more Dome games was Bud Legg.
There's a lot of people that have seen have been at more games than me. I'm sure there's a few of them. Roger Rowland is an old softball coach from back in the day. He used to go to every game in the Dome. I know he's got a lot of them.
He's seen a few of them.
Yeah. So yeah, there's definitely some people that have seen more. That's for sure. I know that there's not anybody that shot more.
So the playoffs did get started the semifinals did get started at the Dome today, here Wednesday, November 12th. Who did we get started with? A little Bishop Garrigan against Audubon?
Yeah, Jesse did slow-mo shots to start off. That was just one of those turnovers. I mean, they stopped them on downs, and then Audubon turned it over. And, Bishop Garrigan gets in. But the Golden Bears have just got – the Force kid is good. This rear guard is such an athlete for Audubon. But that guy right there, Ethan Marceau, he's a hammer, Brandon. And so he's going to be a key factor in that game, offensively and defensively. There's a rear guard kid going for Audubon. Had a big year.
Audubon battled.
Yeah, they didn't quit.
Oh, there's Marty. I can see him with the tie, jumping up and down on the sideline.
Marty getting after it. But the turnovers really hurt them. I mean, they ended up running up 60 points on it. But you can just see when they need it. That was a 4th down play, I think, right there, and with the conversion. And I think he threw 5 passes, Brandon, completed 4, 3 of them were touchdowns, threw for 3, ran for 3. But this guy is a load. And I talked to him after the game, the Marceau kid. Talked to him after the game. I'm like, man, you love this. You can just see it. And I think that's what I love most about being up there, seeing the kids that are just all in the whole game for everything. And I'm like, are you going to keep playing? And he's like, no, I'm going to a community college and I'm getting my degree. And I don't know what skill he said, but he's going to go to work. And I just love that, when kids know exactly who they are and what's next. And that's why sometimes this is even more meaningful to them, I believe. So, but yeah, Wadley and the boys move on 60-36, and it's going to be a great final. I think it's going to be evenly matched. The next game was, oh my gosh, it was tight to the end. I mean, this one had all kinds of action, and you just didn't know what to see for Woodbine. They've been to a championship game in '97 and lost, and this is really their first taste of the Dome, in a long, long time. Gladbrook, Reinbrecht, Coach Olson's been up there, off and on, and like he was saying, with these runs that he's had a different quarterback every single time. But Woodbine's got players across the board. Heron was the kid, number 9 for Gladbrook, that just jumped off the quarterback did a nice job. But every time they needed to play, this kid just made plays. Just a junior, so he'll be around. Trevion Heron, and just keep an eye on him, Brandon, because he's something else.
I thought, I didn't get to watch the entirety of both of these games, like, because I actually had to do Zooms all day. But I thought both, number 8 and number 9 for Woodbine, I was impressed with both of them. And I was locked in on Landon Bloom. Like, I was just like anticipating Landon Bloom being like just an all world.
Here it comes. We talked about at halftime. We're like, he's one of the highest rated kids in our state, and he takes this bubble screen, and then this is where you see the Jets. I mean, this is where you get the 5 stars, right? He's a little bit like a lot of the kids that we see in Iowa at this point. He's going to fill out. He's going to be huge. You don't know. He's just such an athlete. You don't want to miss on him. But I think the thing that prevailed in this game for me after the tough pick there, and there's Heron making another play, is there's Bloom to finish the game-winning touchdown, was just Gladbrook had a chance to tie this thing up, and Woodbine just seemed like the weight room, all the work, all the reps, everything that you put into it. They still had the energy. They were still there. They weren't beat. They weren't tired. So, kudos to Dustin Crook. He's done a nice job. He's a local, grew up there. I think he played his football at BV. So they got a nice football team.
I do love this freeze frame I created here. I wasn't trying to, but Landon Bloom is showing you that he's not the only athlete on the field. This ref's getting up and down the field.
Yeah, we noticed that.
So, but yeah, I think it is super interesting, and we've been saying this all year long, that the cream will rise to the top at the Unidome. And I think you saw that in this Woodbine Gladbrook Rhinebeck game. Landon Bloom was just kind of there, was just kind of around. And then, it was 30-30 on this interception.
Yep.
This tied it up. And all of a sudden, Gladbrook Rhinebeck, I think they were down like 30-14.
Yep.
And here came, Gladbrook Rhinebeck back, and Woodbine, they could have just folded at that point, but they kind of bowed their back and they were ready to play. And then boom, throw this pass up in the middle of kind of all kinds of traffic.
Yeah.
And
I thought I was going back to the end zone. I didn't see Bloom. Like, where'd he come from?
Yeah, I even watched it live, and I was like, wow, how did he catch that? And so I think that just goes to show the player, the athlete. I think he's like a high jump state champion, like there's just all kinds of things.
A little bit like Dervosky, yeah.
Yeah.
He's the quarterback on the Grundy side.
But he made that play so effortlessly, and that is the sign of some of these unbelievably great, talented kids. And you feel for a kid like here, number 35, where
Yeah, it happens, and it wasn't his. They got backed up a penalty, and he. I don't know if he was close to the first down marker, but
he was not. Like, he was not going to get the first down marker no matter what. Like, he had to gain like probably another 10 yards after he caught it.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get upfield, get his head on a swivel, and go make a play. But.
So yeah, fun to get it started. We'll be back at it with the Class A tomorrow morning.
So the only other thing we had for high school, for the Football Coaches Association, segment that we do here, was we had another fun thing. So this dork, we've talked a lot about Braylon Bingham. This is maybe the Braylon Bingham podcast.
Well, I think it appeals to everybody that has a kid that plays high school football. It doesn't matter what level they're at or what team they're on. But
so yeah. I found it really interesting as I'm standing there on the sideline and I'm watching this junior, and he's kind of Mr. All World. He's got recruiting offers. He's got all these different things happening. And to watch him immediately grab the trophy, and he's just holding the trophy in the middle of this huddle.
It's kind of cool. Because it's interesting, to watch that dynamic of how some of the great athletes that we've covered handle that situation. Because some of them don't want anything to do with it. And some of them, awkwardly hold it. And then some of them, and it doesn't make any difference what their choice is, but it is really interesting. To see him hold on to it.
And so he just was holding, he was just locked in, and it was just that I can't wait for next year moment already. And you can just see it on him. And so then we got to have some really cool, discussion and stuff after. And he then got to go watch the University of Iowa play Oregon, the next day. And it was cool as we were leaving, Braylon was, having a really cool conversation with Savion Miller and Tate Wallace and Kyle Tracy and kind of all them together. And it was kind of a cool, just showed you what high school sports are all about. Like, these kids are competitors and they can't wait to, beat the living crap out of each other. But the respect that is across the field in Iowa high school sports is second to none. and your competitors across the way, but you want to beat them, but you want to see them have success too. And ultimately, a lot of these kids end up on the same rosters together, competing against Oregon.
Well, and that's true, and they have the opportunity to be in that situation together a little bit. So there's just a few kids that have that going on in their lives right now, so they can really identify with each other, and they've seen each other in multiple sports when they're younger, and it's probably really unique to be like, oh my gosh, now we're in the same boat in a different way, and that happens all across state.
Yeah, competing on a basketball court when you're actually a football player, or you're playing let's say baseball, and you're a football player, whatever it is, they compete, in all these different sports, which is so fun. Something I think truly we miss here in Florida, because you're kind of a sport specific kid. And so like, I know like my son, basketball season starts on Monday, like the first game on Monday, and he thinks he's going to be the guy. I think he's got a rude awakening coming, but we'll find out and we'll report back.
Yeah. And also, I mean, in a lot of those states too, the football players generally do play for the high school, but in a lot of those other sports, you might not even see that participation. And some of those kids that are involved in a different sport don't even participate in any of the other ones that are with the school. That's really tough sometimes.
So as we leave this segment, this guy holding the trophy ended up receiving another Division I offer from the University of Iowa Hawkeyes. So pretty cool that he was able to experience that Iowa-Oregon game, was able to, another offer, and, just another step towards, what his potential will be in college. And I think what will be fun for him, he's still got a junior year left of basketball and baseball and track, and then a full senior season, but also looking towards that future of just what that might look like and how amazing that'll be.
Yeah, definitely mature enough to understand what he's got in front of him just in high school. He's not looking past it. And I think that's the cool thing, those conversations that he's probably has with those other guys, is they're just like, this is awesome that we're doing this. It's not like I want this to be over, I want to go to the next step. They're living it up, and they should. And that's what they're going to be doing up here at the Dome in the next 3 days.
Yeah, I just got Tom Ruff. Grayson should run some games of 8. That's all Grayson can do is run. So like he's got to be rim runner, and that's all he can do. So congratulations to the Trojans. Congratulations to all these teams that, in the semifinals didn't maybe reach their ultimate goal. A lot of goals, of making it to the Dome. That was one that I really felt loud and clear when I was on that sideline was, man, this is the game we lost, when I was in high school too. We never quite got through the quarterfinals, and you just feel that emotions when you come back to those sidelines of that feeling of not quite achieving that goal, and what might fuel you then for the rest of, your professional life.
Yeah, I think it's a great thing. Not getting there sometimes doesn't diminish that journey. It's just really hard to see it, when you're in it. And so it does motivate some of these teams. I mean, the kids from Algona today were talking about, a triple pass, that cost them a chance to get to, and they triple tip pass. I can't remember what he told me, but Forrest was telling me, but they like put it in their weight room. It's just, there's just a toughness in those programs that can drive you back to that point. But everybody's got to be all in. If you don't have everybody on the roster all in, you're not getting up here. You really got to make sure that you have that locked in. That culture is important.
That's all I got for Iowa Football Coach Association. You better get to bed. You've got 4 games tomorrow. The last thing that I'll take us out of this show with, I was headed to school to drop off the kids today.
Yeah.
And there was this note was laying on the basketball hoop.
Mm.
And I was like, did some girl leave Grayson a love note? Like, what is this?
So what is it?
And so I was just like, that's odd. Why would it be that? And did it fall out of our car? What is it? And so I picked it up and I was like, okay, I'm going to see what is this? So I open it up and it's a letter with like a business card in it. And I'm like, what is this? And so it's some young man that runs a basketball training business, and he teaches many of the nuances of basketball that are often overlooked by most coaches and trainers. If you were interested, I've included a one-time discount code for a free session. This is located on the back of the attached business card. You can learn more about my business through my website and social media accounts. I have a genuine passion for basketball, and I look forward to sharing my knowledge with you and your child to help achieve goals on the court. This kid, whoever does this, he comes to your driveway and teaches your kid.
I thought you were going to say it was like Rex Chapman or something like that.
No, like it's just this is some kid hustling to create a business.
That's cool.
To make something happen. And I just thought it was so cool so then that he had dropped these off, he had physically came around and
he had to put his card in there. Yeah, that's the American dream right there.
And he put them on basketball hoops all over our neighborhood and stuff. And so then I decided on my way out today, I was like, did we get targeted? Like, did he know like where he was going, or did he put these on every basketball hoop around?
Yeah.
So then when I drove by, I looked at every basketball hoop, and there is a piece of paper, sitting on on all these basketball hoops. So, the other thing is most kids are probably never going to see this piece of paper because it's going to melt, whatever, like wilt away. But this kid out hustling. So, I just thought it was funny that, this elite hustle out of a small business owner.
Yeah, that's cool.
So that was a really refreshing, fun thing I saw this morning. Todd Chambers, I was talking to him this morning. I was telling him about it was on our Zoom, and he's like, maybe don't share the guy's name or his business because what if it's not a good thing? Like, so he did catch me. I was like, I better not share the guy. I don't want to endorse him. And what if it's like not a good thing?
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, probably just.
Yeah. If you call him and have him meet you at the driveway, you'll find out real quick.
Yeah. So I haven't looked up the kid or not what it is. So I won't endorse him. I should, but I won't. That's it.
All right.
Semifinals tomorrow, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Semifinals every day.
Yes, sir.
I guess the last thing, what vest number were you today?
Number 1.
Vest number 1 at the Dome.
Yeah.
How'd you get that?
It was the one on top.
You were the first one to get a vest?
No, I don't think so. I was the first one to get one.
What number was Jesse?
51.
I had to go for the XL.
Had to go for the XL.
So he was Dick Butkus.
Yeah, I love him. And our really good friend, Rick Coleman, who I broke into the business with at KWWL, he came in kind of late. I'm like, we're giving each other a hard time. And he's like, what number are you? And I'm like, I'm number 1. He's like, he had 23. And I'm like, dude, you handpicked that. He's like, yeah, you know it. So that was really cool to see him at 23.
I would have had to be 99.
Yeah. I love the vests. I think they're awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Over and out. Have a good week.
Right.
Send in your comments. Subscribe on the YouTube channel, and we will see you later.
See ya.